Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there's a donate button if you would like to help us out. And please, my friends, stand up for the Hindu yoga, religious, spiritual, scientific, philosophical lifestyle. And those of you that are not Hindus listening in, well, that's wonderful. You can study the Hindu yoga dharma, but remember, there's a vast difference between a student and a teacher. One who teaches any aspect of the Hindu yoga dharma must logically, rationally, sanely be a Hindu, true to any of the religions of the world. And remember that, again, true to all the religions of the world, the basic classes and teachings are always offered on a donation basis. That's how special it is. And it's open for everyone to come, regardless of income. Don't distort the religious spiritual teachings of Hinduism by making a .com or business out of them. So today, let's look at the difference between youth and maturity, and young souls and old souls, if you will. But remember that the English word soul, which comes from the Greek psyche, is still connected to the mind. It's not the body, hence it's incorporeal, or not the body, but it is still connected to the mind. And in that light, remember that the cliche, I'm spiritual but not religious, makes no sense whatsoever, since the words spirit, spiritual, and soul refers to that which is not one's body. It is the religious teachings and practices that hopefully lead one to the realization of their inner essence, which some call soul or spirit, but remember, as Hindus, we call this the Atmana, which it's not the body, but it's not the mind either. Hence, Atmana, not the mind or the emotions. Temporarily residing within the body, mind, and emotion complex, but transcends it in the depths of sleep, in contemplation, and certainly when this physical existence is over. So let's look at youth and maturity. And we're going to look at three letters here, P, M, and N. So in our youth, we should have learned to say please, may I, and no thank you. These good manners create a strong foundation that will carry with us through the rest of our life. Without this foundation, chances are, as we quote-unquote mature, we often exhibit a love of power, money, and name recognition or narcissism. These are the indications of a young soul, no matter what the physical age. Older souls tend to be more patient, magnanimous, and nice. As an older Hindu Atmana, we should be seeking prajna, spiritual perception, moksha, freedom, and niyama, in other words, how we cultivate prajna and moksha. The ethical and soulful qualities of learning to say please, may I, and no thank you, and being patient, magnanimous, and nice, and as Hindus seeking prajna, moksha, and niyama, will bring about a sense of contentment. So let's look at three words: content, competent, and contentment. And remember, our goal here at the ashram is to present these great teachings in a very general way, obviously using English, but then also respecting the specifics of the Sanskrit Hindu language. Remember, Sanskrit is, by definition, the ancient Arya or noble language of the Hindus. It's a religious language. Therefore, every Sanskrit word needs to be respected in the context of the Hindu yoga dharma. Okay, now, here are some tools that can help anyone of any age to develop into a more mature individual. First, consider the wisdom of seeking a contented lifestyle, contentment. For who ultimately wants to live a life of a malcontent? Now, with contentment as a goal, it stands to reason that we seek to be competent in our many life endeavors. In other words, through dedication and practice, we become competent and thus contented. Now, how to be competent? Well, fill our life with content. In other words, be a person of substance, foundation, soundness, and meaning. So, in the circles of life, we begin by filling our life with good content, thereby gaining competence and the resultant contentment. We keep repeating this cycle or circle. Remember, life is cyclic. Remember, it is monotheism that is linear thinking by definition. And it's not a coincidence that at one point the monotheists believed the earth was flat, but the Hindus always knew it was round and moving. Jagat. What do you think about that? Now, let's examine content, competent, and contentment in that order in light of the Hindu Yoga Dharma. Starting with the goal of contentment, we could say this is Santosha. In order to become contented, we need to be competent, which is Mother Saraswati. And now how do we become competent? Is by filling our life with content. This takes us back to Ganesha as Siddhivinayaka, or being established in the Dharma, Shraddha. So now we see the relevance. Santosha is Ganesha's belly of contentment. And how do we achieve Santosha or contentment? Through Saraswati, which literally means having flow. In other words, we practice again and again, as Patanjali said, the Saiva Hindu Guru Patanjali, in the often misquoted Yoga Sutras, Dosa drista mahora mahuha. See your defects again and again and again. Practice, 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 until we become competent in our various life endeavors. And how do we become as Saraswati, or having flow, competent? We become full of content, like Ganesha's belly. We become established and have full faith, Shraddha, in the Dharma, and develop the humble powers or siddhis profoundly portrayed by the humble Vinayaka image of Ganesha. Remember, his belly is full of laddus or modakas, or the sweetness of life. And as his trunk teaches us to be strong, flexible, and sensitive, and then our life is sweet, or we have content. All of Ganesha's symbolism is teaching us as Hindus how to have substance or content in our life, which we practice and become competent, which leads to the contented state. When we look at Mahaganapati, that's why he's always first. He's, in a sense, first and last, in the sense of a foundation from which we rise and have our in-depth esoteric inner experiences, etc., and then safely come back to that Ganapati power, kind of like a rocket ship, as it needs a solid foundation from which to blast off and go into outer space. And then it safely returns to Earth again. And they used to land the capsules in the softness of the water, so that's kind of a nice circular understanding of, from Ganesha we rise up and then come back to Ganesha again in this circular dance that is life itself. So again, Ganesha's belly reminds us to seek content in life. And just looking at his image, it's reminding us to always take care of our animal, human, and divine nature. This is the form of yours and mine. And again, his trunk teaches us to be strong, flexible, and sensitive in our body, mind, and emotions. And then life is sweet. His broken tusk reminds us to seek humility, which is wisdom. Not being humiliated, my dear Hindu friends. We've been humiliated far too long. I think because we haven't put a strong enough emphasis on the symbolism and the power of Mahaganapati. So humility is wisdom. His big ears remind us to always listen. Suniye, Gajikanikaya. Listen to words of wisdom from the outside and from within yourself. The Antar Atma. His Gata and his Pasa are reminding us to learn in life what to get rid of and what to hold on to. He's often seen with one foot down and one foot up, reminding us to seek a sattvic balance in life. One foot in the world, prakriti, take care of business in the world, and the other foot up into purusha or your atmana. And little Mushika reminds us to take care of Bhumi Mata and all of the creatures and see the divinity that flows through all things. This is why we sing Sharanam. We take refuge in Ganesha. This is what gives us content. And interestingly, when we look at these English words, content, competent, contentment, they all have the word tent in there. The tent is something that we take shelter in. Hence, we take Sharanam, or refuge, in the tent, if you will, of Mahaganapati. Feel his power encircling us as we become strong, flexible, and sensitive, and seeking contentment in life. Being humble, listening to words of wisdom, knowing what to repel, know what to hold on to. One foot in the world, one foot in the spirit. See the divinity that flows through all the creatures, little Mushika. So, dear Hindus, we of course always start with Mahaganapati. Remember, he's also synonymous with the Om. Karam bindu samyuktam nityam yayanti yoginaha kamaram moksharam chaiva Om karaya namo namaha. This primal sound, this pranava Om. And remember, Ganapati is known as Brihaspati in the Vedas, the great expansive laughing deity, Brihaspati, the male deity of speech. And of course, Ma Saraswati is the female deity of speech, or Vach or Vak. For in Hinduism, we always give equal opportunity to the Devas and the Devis, male and female, both in the material and the spirit plane. And remember, Hindus, we don't worship God, please. That is the Christian term for their understanding of what they believe to be a one male, as opposed to goddess, which they never say, a one male creator being. So Hindus, start with Mahaganapati, and then explore the other devatas, the other aspects of the Hindu yoga, dharma, and come safely back to Mahaganapati as we complete this circle, the circle of life, if you will. This is our feel-good philosophy, Hakuna Matata. So follow the Hindu Yoga Dharma. Jai Ganesha, Jai Hindu Yoga Dharma. Namaste.